Please stand for the Pledge of Allegiance. Ralph, would you start us off?
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Sonia, would you please call the roll?
Commissioner Lott?
Here.
Commissioner Zilli?
Here.
Commissioner Upshaw? Commissioner Mudd?
Here.
Mayor Lynch?
Here.
And Dr. Finley?
We have the approval of the minutes from September 22nd.
Motion to approve. Second.
We have a motion and a second. Is there any discussion? If not, all in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Aye. Motion carries. We have the payment of the claims.
Make a motion to approve.
Wait, I see they're in 3 batches. Are we approving them all at once? They're like in 3 separate?
I'll make a motion to approve the claims.
Second.
We have motion and second to approve the claims. Is there any discussion?
I have a question on the NERC ones. When, there's quite a few in there from Holiday for miscellaneous repairs and so on and so forth. Do those get approved prior to them doing it, or they just do it? For example, there's or installation of a new doorbell for total $341. I was just curious how the process works for stuff like that.
The contract stipulates that the management company, if we give them a budget to do maintenance work on the building, they can do that. They do sit with us and go through some of the things that they're doing, but does each task get approved? No. There's a budget approved at the beginning of the year. We have an understanding of the different things that they might do. And if you notice, why there's so many on this is we've been reminding the property manager that you're encouraged to keep that building up. And if you look back on several of the past dockets, we won't see a lot of that work. So this is more our encouraging them to make sure that that building's staying up to speed. As you know, we're several months away from starting lease negotiations, and I think it's important And we needed to remind them that it's important to do these little, small projects to make sure that that building's in the type of condition we suggested it would be in when we entered into those leases with the Forum and NERC and most recently, CEC.
Yeah, I mean, my questions are like thermostat batteries, $236 to change batteries and thermostats, almost $400 for changing light bulbs and ballasts. It just seems, in the grand scheme of things, seems rather expensive for the square footage over there and changing batteries and a thermostat.
Well, we have an agreement with them that offers an hourly rate. So I think some of the things we're seeing is we're seeing the piece of equipment itself, as an example, the ballast. And then if there's labor associated with that work, that we're probably seeing a couple hours of labor with it.
Do we have the work orders, Nina, for these?
We don't provide it, it just lists on the invoice, it lists what the work order number is and how many personnel, if they had 2 staffers out, like, for example, they had 2 guys, power washing, so there was 2 separate charges for that. And some of them were the same, so I made sure, and cross-reference to make sure it was a different work order, too.
That's power washing for all the windows at the NERC building? Those 2 bills?
It was the brick, they did the exterior brick.
Okay, because I had someone clean our windows here in this building last year, and it was like $400, right, Nina?
I think the windows were cleaned separately. I think
Okay.
the power washing was just for the entire exterior of the building.
Okay.
Joe said he saw 2 guys out there, so he vouched for it.
Yeah, they were, and the bricks got all clean too, so we trust it.
That's it.
Okay, we have a motion and a second. Is there any other questions? If not, all in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
We have staff reports.
Yes, first I'd like to invite Bill Rathjen up from Macaulay Bennett to offer an update on his ongoing work regarding real estate.
Good evening, Commissioners. Update on our real estate ventures. As you know, for the last couple months, we've been working on appraisals for 6 different parcels of land. All appraisals have been received. We are now going through an evaluation of those appraisals, and we will need to get, after conversations with Attorney Witten, we will need to get an executive board meeting scheduled for next week, towards the end of the week, I'm assuming, to decide on exactly the asking price for each one of those properties. So we're going to be advertising 5 of the 6 parcels that we had appraised. The 6th parcel is a transfer from one public entity to another and doesn't require any public notices. So the cost of the public notices and legal notices are already in the budget, I believe. We already have them approved, so we don't need any motions for that. The money's already there. We just have to get them done and get them published. I'd like to publish those the following week after we have the executive board. It's a 30-day notice, so that would mean we would have, that term would run towards the end of November. So at your December meeting, we should be either reviewing offers that we received or authorizing those to go on to the public offerings, basically, open market. So that is where we are at. Any questions?
So AJ, will Sonia be contacting everyone to schedule the executive session, or do we want to look at doing it during this
If-
meeting?
I mean, we can do either. What would be the pleasure of the group?
I will not be available next week. I'll be out of town for business, so you can schedule around me.
So Bill, what are you thinking?
You need 72 hours, right? So I'm thinking, Wednesday would be the earliest we could do it.
We could do it Wednesday, Thursday's probably not good, right? I mean, it's
We have storm and sanitary on Thursday at 3 and 4. And then do you have porters at the next week? Actually, Wednesday's not really good for me. Let me look here.
Could we aim for the week after, the week of the 7th?
Yes?
Election day is Tuesday.
Yeah, I was gonna point that out. We don't wanna do it on Tuesday. We could do it on Monday. There's a planning commission at 6:30. If we can do it before then,
That could work.
It's time.
I won't be available for that week.
You won't be?
No.
You're not available the whole week of the 7th, Ralph?
No.
Okay. I think either way, we're going to be missing a member.
yeah.
And if we find out a day that the member's away, we can always have them kind of chime in remotely.
Can you chime in remotely during the week of the 7th, or will that work for you?
Yes, I can.
Do we want to say Monday, the 7th at 5 o'clock?
That is fine with me.
Does that work for everyone?
So I know there's a Portage Youth Commission, but I believe that's scheduled at Sycamore Hall, according to my calendar.
Yeah, we just need a smaller office as it's a closed meeting, so. And we do
I think we said 5
anticipate,
o'clock, right?
pardon me?
5 o'clock?
Yes. We do anticipate having an offer on a piece of property from downtown by that time also. So we can review that at the same meeting.
Great, let's just plan on Monday, the 7th at 5 o'clock. And then does Sonia advertise that, AJ? Okay. Okay, Bill,
All right, thank you.
thank you. AJ, we're still on you with the staff report?
Yeah, so just a couple other things. Work continues on the Marquette Greenway Trail. The contractor, Geary Up Construction, continues work on both, both east and west sides of Salt Creek. The contractor is currently spending a lot of time on the largest retaining wall that is at the east end of the project, where the trail project is connecting with the recently constructed trail in the town of Burns Harbor. Once that retaining wall is complete, the contractor intends to continue with subsurface work and asphalt. Later on in today's agenda, and we have Mr. Glenn Peterson from SEH here, we will be seeking an extension of time on a change order for an extension of time for the project. So that is where we are on that project. The hope remains that we will be able to, the contractor subcontractor, Reeve Riley, will be able to get on the project site and continue work on the subsurface and asphalt in advance of the plant's closing in late November of this year. So that remains the goal. If that can happen, we'll be continuing with winter work, concrete. The boardwalk would be constructed in that time. And then we would be waiting really until the spring for the restoration work in areas where it's been disturbed during construction.
Will the bridge be accessible at some point this year? I know I've had a couple of people ask me about that because they've gone out there and they said you can't get up on the bridge.
Yeah, so what's next is the Reeve Riley getting out on site with the subsurface and the asphalt. Gary Up would then be back on site placing the boardwalks at both the east and the west end. There's a small section of boardwalk that needs to be constructed to make up the grade difference. I believe it would be their intent to have it done by the end of the year, and so that folks could start getting out there and using it. It'll be cold. Yeah. The Central Avenue West project, I reported last month that the bids were opened and awarded to Dunnet Bay Construction. The city has sent the local match to NDOT, and the staff and the department are awaiting word from Dunnet Bay Construction regarding the pre-construction meeting. The downtown master plan, the steering committee met earlier this week. Smith Group is continuing to work on the final draft of the plan, and it remains our intent to present the downtown master plan final draft to the Redevelopment Commission at next month's meeting. And lastly, I did report last month that the department did issue solicitations for engineering and design services for the downtown community park. We received 5 proposals on Friday, and they are currently under review for action at a subsequent meeting. And that concludes my report, unless, Bill, you had more to say.
No.
Okay.
Does anyone on the commission have any questions for AJ?
I do. What is the status of the Hannah's Hope resurfacing?
Joe, could you offer an update on the status of that project?
Is that, yes, they sent us an invoice, final invoice.
Thanks.
There were a lot of kids on it today. I saw them, yeah. Okay, if there are no more questions, we'll move on. We have no old business, new business approval of change order number 13 for the City Hall remodel.
Yeah, so before you have a change order number 13 for the City Hall project. This change order has been reviewed by the project's architects, CSK, as well as staff, and it would be the recommendation of CSK and the department to approve change order number 13 in the add amount of $15,428.
I'll make a motion to approve change order number 15.
Second.
We have a motion and a second. Are there any questions? It's nice to have all the blinds up.
Yeah.
Okay, if there's no questions, all in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Motion carries. We have the approval of change order number 1 for the Marquette Greenway Trail.
Yes, earlier during staff comments and reports, I did state that we would be seeking an extension of time for the Marquette Greenway Trail project. With us this afternoon is Mr. Glenn Peterson from SEH. He's available if there's any questions regarding the requested change order. It would be, it's Glenn's recommendation as well as staff's to approve the change order for an extension of time that would look to a completion of spring of 2023. And again, Mr. Peterson is available for any questions you may have.
I'll make a motion to approve change order number 1.
Second.
We have a motion and a second to approve change order number 1 for the Marquette Greenway Trail. Are there any further questions? If not, all in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Is there any other business to come before this commission? If not, I'll entertain a motion to adjourn.
Motion to adjourn?
All in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Motion carries. Thank you, everyone.